Hello and welcome to Restless Gecko Reviews. Today I just wanted to do a video about my top 5 favourite claw grip mice, and this applies to my 19 by 11 hands, which I've just measured just to make sure I was accurate, and sort of how they interact with these traditionally medium to smaller size mice. I just want to say before we start the video, if you want to subscribe to the channel, it would be a massive help and help me bring out more content like this in the future. Leave any comments if you have any questions, and if you have any requests or any reviews or anything like that, please do let me know. So anyway, moving on to my top 5. So starting at number 5, we have the Zowie U2. And it might seem a little bit low rated, but that is for a reason. So let's go through the sensor. So the sensor is the 3395. It comes with the charging dock, which is quite handy if you just want to plonk it down at the end of the night, let it charge. It doesn't have 4K polling, it only goes up to 1. You have all of the onboard settings underneath, which is great if you don't want to bother doing any of the software stuff. Obviously it doesn't come with software anyway, so you don't get a choice. But yeah, the clicks are Huano transparent black shell pink dots or transparent blue shell pink dots. I can't remember which one it is. Either way, Huano's really, really good, really nice and spammy. Great clicks. Side buttons are great. The grip is a very aggressive claw that just sort of, well, actually you can sort of split it between a relaxed semi-aggressive claw for me personally, with my size hands, but it really, because of the length of the mouse, it really locks in your hand, locks into your palm. So I find maneuverability a little bit trickier. Vertical movements I find a little bit awkward, but like horizontal is absolutely great. The skates are the usual Zowie black. I think are they Teflon skates? I can't remember. Are they PTFE? Can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, they're meh. They're okay at best. But yeah, if you want to replace them, I would say go ahead. But yeah, if you like that locked-in feeling, this is an absolutely great mouse for that. Obviously, you can maneuver a little bit, but it's a little bit too high at the back here, and it's too long as well. So it's the height mixed with the length that just sort of puts me off. In terms of any issues I have with the mouse, the only issue I have is occasionally, because I have quite wide thumbs, I occasionally tap these mouse 4 and mouse 5 by accident, which I use for switching weapons in various games. So occasionally I accidentally switch weapon and just get absolutely brutally murdered. So yeah, that's not great, but if I pay attention to it and I keep it in mind, I can avoid doing that. But yeah, it's a great mouse. Moving on to number 4. We have the Lamzu Atlantis Mini with the same sensor again, 3395, Huano blue shell pink dots, nice scroll wheel on it, side buttons are nice and tactile, not so much, a little bit of pre-travel, quite a lot of post-travel on these. I've had this for quite a while, to be fair. Clicks are really nice though, very spammable, very light. Decent coating on it. The Zowie U2, I forgot to mention, the Zowie U2 coating is quite nice as well. It's the usual Zowie coating, you know what to expect if you've had a Zowie before. If your hand gets a bit sweaty, it does stick to it, so it's quite nice. I did like the grip tape on this. The only reason I took it off, I can't remember why I took it off, probably just me fidgeting. I took the grip tape off this, but I did prefer it on because it also widened it a little bit for me. The coating is perfectly fine, you can get away with it, but yeah, I prefer the grip tape personally. The skates are decent, they're fair out of the box, but if you want to replace them, again, I replaced most of my skates, so just not bothered with these. Yeah, it's a great mouse. So the grip is, for me, a very aggressive claw just because of the size. If I want to lock it in, if I'm tracking or something like that, I'll pull it back into my palm and hold it quite tight, but it does tend to like disappear into my hand quite a bit. I find it's really good for flicking. I feel really consistent with it, and I can judge the movement of targets quite well. I do have a little bit of issue with tracking because it's so small. It forces my fingers to touch the bottom of the mouse pad, which does give me more stability, admittedly, but sometimes I'm making more contact with the mouse pad than I would like. I like a bit of a choice whether I want to lift my fingers up or not, but with this mouse, obviously, it's too small to do that, and it does get on the verge of uncomfortable at times. And yeah, tracking, it's just not the best for tracking, but it's great for flicking. So moving on to number 3, the Vaxee XE-S. I think this is a great claw grip mouse if you really love maneuverability. I think it's very pointed. the clicks are quite low down, so you feel like it's very focused on precision, which I quite like. It's good for tracking because it's quite a wide mouse given its size. I did compare it to the Razer Viper Mini. This again, this is using the 3950 sensor, which is the latest one that's been released from the embargo from Razer. 4K, same as the Atlantis Mini Pro, 4K, 2K, and you got 1500. Obviously got all your LOD, all the onboard controls. Absolutely great mouse. The clicks are 10 blue shell pink dots, and yeah, they're great. The only issue I have with this is the stalk underneath. I don't know if you can see it, that stalk there. The only issue I have with it is they've left too much play in it, and I'm now just starting to get a bit more sidewall on the left click, not so much on the right click, which is a little bit frustrating sometimes. So if I'm holding down a spray in CS or Valorant, I can feel the mouse clicks just sort of shift under my finger, and it's like, it just reminds me it's there, and it's a little bit of a niggle in the back of my mind. So a little bit frustrating. Wheels really, really nice to use. The coating's really good as well. I have no issue with the coating. The grip, again, you can sort of switch between a relaxed and an aggressive claw grip. Really good for my size hands. Not much of a presence at the back hump. It sort of sits quite low profile. The skates are average, again, average at best, I would say. No issues with it other than just that little bit of side play there. There's not so much on the right, it's just on the left for some reason. Maybe the tension is slightly different on my copy. I'm not really sure, but yeah, it does bother me a little bit, especially when you pay so much for a mouse. I'd expect it to be a little bit more tighter in terms of the click action. But yeah, very spammable, very little in the way of pre and post travel. Side buttons exactly the same. So yeah, it's just a really, really nice mouse. Loads of freedom of movement. Yeah, absolute banger. And you've got the emote button, which I've mentioned before, so you can, I don't know, spam emotes with it, or if you're in League of Legends and you want to taunt people, yeah, do that, get everyone annoyed. Number 2, the OP1 Wii. This has the worst sensor of all of the mice on my desk. I think the worst sensor in my... I mean, when I say worst, I mean the least advanced or the least up-to-date sensor, because it is the 3370. I do have I have a SteelSeries Prime Mini Wireless over there, which has the same sensor. I believe it's the 3370. I think that one had a load of issues that they then patched, which was more recent, even though the mouse has been out forever. I think that was with the click latency though. But yeah, so this one is I think this and the XM2 Wii were released because they wanted to get something out into the market after, obviously, everybody's waiting forever for the XM2 4K. And they just wanted to get something out into the market, so they started chucking loads of old tech in it, just to get something out there with the shape. I do think this is quite a unique shape, and I absolutely love it. The sensor and the performance, I have no issue with it, to be honest with you. I can't really tell the difference. It's just a really good implementation. I think they do use sort of like bought and paid for software in it. It's got KO optical switches, which feel really nice. They are on the heavy side, so if you do have smaller hands and you don't sort of like maintain quite a firm grip, you will see that when you're sort of like static shooting, you might see the mouse move a little bit. I don't really have that issue because I've got a bit of a death grip going on sometimes. But yeah, I don't mind the clicks at all. I think they're quite nice. They are heavy though. Like, you can see the amount of force I'm having to put in, but they are well tensioned. Obviously you can buy the switch pack to swap these out to the lighter version. I don't believe you can get their new endgame gear switches that activate at the point of click rather than at the point of pressing the click rather than when the plunger goes down for quicker reduced latency. But yeah, I absolutely love this mouse, to be honest with you. It's very, very good, very pointed. It's very thin at the end, so I feel like I've got that same effect of the U2. I've got a similar length to the Vaxee XE-S. I've got more of a hump, which is nice, so it's kind of like an amalgamation of all these mice. It's like all of the great points from them that I like, it's all together in this mouse. It's really, really nice. The coating, obviously it's an endgame gear mouse. The coating is just absolutely sublime. Your hands get a little bit warm and that's it. It sticks like glue. A little bit of moisture and that's it. You can't get it off. Yeah, this is quite a nice mouse because it gives you that freedom of like movement in the back of the palm with enough hump if you want to track something, you want to sort of like really bed down. Gives me the option of having my fingers on the mouse pad or off the mouse pad. This one, the XE-S, again, sorry, I forgot to mention that, yeah, I do tend to touch more of the mouse pad with this one, but it's not so much of an issue because of the length of it. But yeah, this one is just like a combination of all three of those to a certain degree. In terms of like their good points, the skates are decent. They've got exposed holes where you can take out the PCB and everything like that, and obviously change the clicks. I've absolutely had no issues with it. The thing is built like an absolute tank. Like, I don't know why you would do this, but you can squeeze it and absolutely nothing happens. No side play on the buttons. Well, a little bit of side play, but nothing major. Really well tensioned clicks. Side buttons are nice and spammy. Little bit of pre and post on mouse 5. Mouse 4 is a little bit tighter for some reason, but yeah, great mouse, and I cannot wait for the OP1W 4K. I think that's going to be an absolute banger, especially with the frosted white and the frosted black. So I believe that's coming out in the middle of July. So yeah, I absolutely can't wait for that one. I think it's going to be might edge out my #1 pick for my main once it comes out. But yeah, absolute banger of a mouse, and I think I got it for like 75 quid or like $80, something like that, $85. It's quite a nice mouse for the price. So yeah, would definitely recommend. Quite nice for big hands as well because it does have a bit of length to it, like, and it does have like a certain thinness, but it's quite wide at the back. It's sort of like pear shaped, so you can get that really nice claw grip with it. #1, the HTS Plus 4K, and there are going to be a lot of people that go, no, I'll never buy a GWolves mouse because the customer service is awful, QC is very unpredictable, the response that you get to your QC issues is also very unpredictable, and you don't know where you stand with them. I have been very, very fortunate with both of the HTS Plus 4K mice that I've got. I bought two because this one has the USB-C. My plain white one just has a micro USB, so I wanted the USB-C for quicker charging and stuff like that. This has the 3399, so the battery life is absolutely abysmal. It lasts for about 5 minutes on a good day, 2 minutes on a bad day. But yeah, I've got to charge it every single night if I use it on 4K. I brought it down to 2K now. GWolves have just released their online software for their new mice that also works with their old mice as well. So if you've got a HTX 4K or a HTS Plus 4K, you can use that with the website. It should work for the Ace as well, I'd imagine. But yeah, it's a great mouse. The sensor performance is really, really good. Obviously, we've seen like the house gaming reports on the latency, incredibly quick, as good as like the market leaders. How they manage it, I don't know, but yeah, great sensor implementations as always. The clicks of the zippy switches, you'll either love them or you'll absolutely hate them. They are very spammable, very light, but they feel very hollow. Yeah, they're not the best in my opinion. Side buttons are great. Yeah, there are no complaints about the side buttons. There is a little bit of side play on the buttons just due to how it's designed. Not a vast amount though. Not as bad as like my NP-01. Wheel is a little bit scratchy, and you think, well, why is this #1 if you've got so many complaints about it? The shape is amazing. The coating is nothing to be desired. Like, it's very smooth and it can get very slippy if you've got warm hands, and that's why I use the grips. The skates come with it are absolutely god awful, and I recommend changing them as quickly as possible. I use the Viper Mini version of the skates. Which ones did I get? Tiger Ice V2s I got for it. Absolute banger skates. Really, really good. I massively recommend them. I don't bother putting the center skate on. But yeah, these are great skates for it, and I just put that on basically because my room's always filled with dust and I don't want dust going inside on the PCB. So yeah, the clicks are passable, side buttons passable, skates awful, replace them straight away, coating meh. I have no issues with this mouse. No problems at all. The only issue is that they have to provide like a very specific USB-C because they don't. Their standard one that plugs into the receiver doesn't actually fit the mouse because it's too wide. So they have to sell you this really like rubbishy iPhone style one that's not very long, not very high quality, but it does the job of charging the mouse purely based on the fact that there aren't many that will fit inside there. So there are like tens of reasons to hate this mouse and not be very fond of GWolves, but the shape is just absolutely goated. I really, really like this shape. Because of the size of the hump, the width is really nice. It just like, it fits my hand like a glove. It gives me that option for having my fingers embedded on the mouse pad or just up above. So when I'm tracking, I can just sort of like shift down and give myself a little bit more friction for stopping power. Yeah, it's quite a chunky little mouse. Like it's quite a short and squat little thing, but it's got obviously the extended hump here. But yeah, it's a really, really nice mouse. Just, yeah, for me this is like the sort of Superlight of small mice. It just really, really suits. I think it'll suit a lot of different grip styles as well. You can sort of do a very aggressive claw or a relaxed claw. I don't know about fingertip in it because it might be a little bit too big at the back hump there. I think, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this has the largest back hump of all 5 of the mice. Yeah, I just absolutely love it. It gives me that freedom of movement for flicking. It's decent for tracking. Yeah, there are a few gripes to it, but yeah, you just can't beat the shape. I believe there is another copy of this mouse, is the Felina or something, that you can get if you don't want to gamble with GWolves. But I've gambled twice and won, so hopefully you shouldn't be gambling though when you're spending $150 on a mouse. Let's be honest. But we are people that are obsessed with buying mice, and that's just what we do. Yeah, and if you do buy one, there's no guarantees that you're going to get a decent response back half the time. So yeah, play the cards you dealt and see how you get on. But yeah, I absolutely love this mouse. I've been very, very lucky. It's been my main for quite a while. Although I do flip now between the OP1 Wii, and I do think that the 4K version of this will overtake my love of the HTS Plus 4K. But yeah, if you like this very in-depth video and you want to see more, let me know. I've got a few more things to come. I'm going to start looking at IEMS as well, so I've got a few of them lying around that I just want to talk about. And also about gaming audio in general, about how the audio engines work. So yeah, if you like this one and you've stayed to the end, fair dues to you. I think we're at what, 17, nearly 18 minutes now. You've stuck in there. Good job, buddy. So yeah, if you want to subscribe and you want to see more content like this, please do. If you want to leave a like, leave a like. If you don't like it, dislike it if you want. Leave any comments, any criticisms. Always happy to hear it. But yeah, let me know what you think. If there's anything I should be trying that I'm not trying, if there's anything I'm trying too much of, let me know in the comments below and I'll get back to you. So thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.